From a business standpoint, a lot of people think about monetization.
Mhm.
And earlier we talked about patience. You talked about it being a long-term game, and maybe some people may be wanting to get monetized early. And when we think about that experience, like how does a business make money without trying to do everything at one time?
Business is a little bit, everybody trying to do everything at one time. Let's equate it to the pit stop. I walked you through that earlier, and everybody had a different role. And there were some roles I didn't even get into. I mean, it's a lot more expansive than that. But if one person tried to do all that, how slow would you be? You'd be 5 laps down before you had, get the car back out on the racetrack. So I think everybody doing anything is, I don't think that's good. When you start out, obviously, with budget and your ideas, but as you grow, anybody grows, you're going to need to assemble a team of some sort, and that can be small and step by step too. But a team is needed. Roles are needed, and you're going to do everything at first yourself. You're a one-man show. Any entrepreneur is just going to go out there and going to do everything. Well, you don't have the budget or the bandwidth to hire people already. Yeah. You're just doing something. Usually, how many businesses, millions of businesses start out with someone has a career Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they're in their side office or the garage nights and weekends building something. Right. So you start off like that, but eventually everybody needs a team as you grow. You're going to anticipate monetization, and that'll give you the money to hire people. And there's also the value of time. You have the hours in the day that you devote for your career as your primary paycheck. There's only so many hours in the day else that you get done. Some things need to be done. You just might need to pay somebody else to do it.
And have the mental bandwidth.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're done with your corporate job or blue-collar job and you're just done.
Yeah.
Mentally done. And that's exactly why I have a video editing team. I have a thumbnail team. I have a shorts team. I have a research team.
Smart.
And even though I'm paying more money out of pocket, it helps me keep quality content like this. Enough time to prepare for this. Enough time to get some sleep. So that's extremely valuable.
A way you can frame that too is like you're not paying for things, you're investing. You're investing in your business and you're investing in yourself. You're not paying money. You're not like betting on a horse or a blackjack table. Yeah. You're investing. You're paying someone to do something for your company. Smart move.
We'll appreciate that. And that's what keeps this sustainable. Been doing this a little over a year, and that's why I'm excited to have this segment of interviews here, and that's what helps us be sustainable. So you talked about, like, you are obviously great at storytelling.
Thanks.
And you have a platform, but how do you turn a story or your platform into multiple streams while still staying authentic?
I think you got to embrace, we haven't gotten into this yet, but when you get a microphone, or hop up on stage or broadcast or something, stay authentic. You've got to be brave enough to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable. If you have shields up and just put out a persona, I don't think an audience will resonate with you. They're imperfect. We're all imperfect. So they appreciate a little imperfection. You want perfection as a performer or a host. Of course, yeah. You want to do the best job you can, but if you also are vulnerable and tell a story of, I'm not going to tell you a story of what I won or, throwing up that championship trophy or some great day, but the lessons you learn from your failures. And sometimes you don't want to frame them as failures, but lessons. But something went wrong. You screwed up. You made a mistake. I think audiences resonate with that. I've had this conversation, discovered it, that over the years in speaking, where the audience really resonates not with your successes but with your failures. The story I always thought was the third generation billionaire. Maybe he's got an interesting story, but that doesn't grab me right away. The company founder who's a billionaire that once was living in their car, my goodness, I am glued to my seat for that story. I want to see that. How did you rise up? So when you step out on, in your platform or my platform, understand this, a coach to anybody out there that wants to do something like that, is the audience, believe it or not, you have to think that they're on your side. Remember that their audience is on your side. As humans, we're worried about being judged, looking like a fool. I don't want to look like I know what I'm doing. I don't want to look like an idiot up there. But if you do, I think the audience embraces you. They understand that they're just like you. They'll laugh at you, but they'll also know that
you're serious.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah. It's like they'll understand still that that person's up there. I've always thought that the honor goes to those on the field of battle, and I've hosted open mic a lot over the years. And on an open mic night, you never know what kind of talent you're going to get up there. And I've found some diamonds in the rough or some brilliant undiscovered talent. And you also have, I've been up there with children that are accompanied by their music teacher. That is their first time ever on stage, but it's a step forward in their learning process. Now, the talent difference between the two is vast, but I've said that the honor goes to those on the field of battle. Anybody that has the courage to get up and perform in front of the audience is a winner. This may be your first time, and maybe the performance, you're not ready for a talent show yet. But you're not going to be ready until you get up on stage and keep doing it. Yeah. The person that does that, I'm marveled by that. You're not a loser. You're a winner. You're a champion because you had the courage to get up here and speak or sing or dance or whatever you're going to do, play an instrument. Okay, maybe it wasn't all that great, but the fact that you are on stage, you are the champion. And everybody in the audience, and this is a barrier between people on stage and people in the audience, and some people are very nervous of being on stage because the people in the audience are going to judge them. We're afraid of being judged. And nobody in the audience is doing that. Everybody in the audience is actually rooting for you. Yeah. They want you to be successful. And I think they even recognize that when someone comes up, very first time singing, new to singing lessons, and the performance is not the best they've ever heard. I think even the audience says, you got up there.
You got up.
You got up there, and that's to be commended. And I think that's in this line. Anytime you have a platform like that. So authentication, be real, and be vulnerable. Be able to say, hey, I'm not going to intentionally screw this up, but I might, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And if you embrace that and do your best and come back next time as well, I think an audience actually respects and appreciates that. Be authentic, be vulnerable, tell storytelling. I'll tell the stories of not only, when we won the race, but when I embarrassed myself at a race, and we all do that. Tell those stories because people relate to that. They're thinking in their own head like, oh, I remember the time that I did this, that, the other thing. People relate to the failures more than the successes. Be authentic.
Pat, I'm waiting on your book. I'm waiting on you to write your book. And if you have it behind the scenes, just let me know when it comes out. A lot of people on social media, maybe an influencer, they struggle to be patient, include myself, as I stated earlier. Yeah. And there's a lot of clickbait out there. There's a lot of videos that lead you in the wrong direction in which you didn't expect. But what builds long-term audience trust and not just short-term attention in your experience?
It's a piggyback to what I was just talking about is being vulnerable. And if you just put on that same story of how wonderful I am, all the great things I've done, and it's almost like bragging. You don't want to do that, but tell the stories of how you got here. Tell the stories of that joke that went wrong, that you embarrassed yourself on stage, that you screwed up somewhere. But also share with how you corrected it. What was the next time on stage? Or whatever it is in life. I remember we all have these stories. Everybody that hears this is going to think, oh gosh, I remember the time. When? Yeah, you made a mistake. You made a bad choice. You forgot something. And it just went south from there. Share that story. And the audience is going to be, hey, he's just like me. He's not, people think, you see you on camera and I'm like on a stage and I think they elevate you as you're something special. Yeah. And I'm really not. I'm just like all of you. Yeah, I'm just sharing a story and it's like, this did not go well, but you might find it interesting.
You mentioned open mic earlier.
Yeah.
I was at my first open mic and of course it was a competition. But the guy who won was the person who was the most vulnerable. Mm-hmm. He dig deep. It touched a nerve.
Yeah.
my drink got warm because I was paying attention to him so much, and he won just based on his vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with that. So during long periods of time, like your energy could drop, maybe dropping, especially with your live speaking events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you maintain high presence and high energy for long periods of time?
Well, the people in the audience are there for the whole, whatever it is, performance, show, whatever. And I don't think I try to design talks with a heartbeat, like people. If people no heartbeat, they're dead. A talk with no heartbeat, also dead. And a little bit of a ride, roller coaster ride. You take them up and down. And we've mentioned movies in this, movies and storytelling. And you do want to see the rise and fall of a hero. You can't have them rise up and just have this great, perfect story. That's actually a boring movie. But where are the problems? Where's the sacrifice? Where's the suffering? Well, you hate to see that, but that's good storytelling, is when your hero takes that dive and it's like, go down here. So when you're down here, it's like, do you close the book or you shut the movie off? No, that's the most interesting part, because you want to see how the heck they get out of that. So you realize that it's storytelling in the audience. And I'm not just telling a story, and then as it goes on, it's droning, it's getting boring, I'm getting tired.
You're yawning.
And
your pillows.
Yeah.
Look for your pillow.
You plan a talk, now that I pointed out to you, you may see that the next time you speak me talk, is I involve the audience, I engage them. There's movement, there's laughter, and there's times for listening where I'm monologuing and telling a serious point. There's times where I'm laughing. There's times where I'm making fun of myself, being vulnerable of that. So the talk is actually like this. Mm-hmm. It's like a movie telling story. You've seen the hero of the story, they develop and they crash and they rise up, and sometimes there's another one like, all right, that's it. Oh wait, the movie's not quite over yet. There's one last dip, like, oh, crisis, and you want to see how they pull out of it. I design talks the same way, is that you wouldn't like any movie, you would want the big finish to it. You want it to build and have a big finish. I don't just drone on with a talk of like boring stories and then I did this, and then I did that, and then this happened. No, you gotta engage the audience and like take them on a ride, and that's what I do when I design a talk. Even a 5-minute MC intro for a band, where you gotta get the sponsors in. There's obligations for announcements and things like that. That can, if it's delivered flatly, can be extremely boring. That's not what I want to do. I got a band behind me ready to go for a rock concert, but we have some obligations business-wise. Make that lively. Get the audience involved in it, but make it quick. And let's get off stage and let the band go. And so always take them for a ride. Heartbeat factor. Humans without a heartbeat die. Don't die. Have whatever you're doing, let it have a heartbeat. Take that audience on a ride.
You mentioned heroes, and maybe this wasn't where you were going, but when you think of heroes, you think villains. Mm-hmm. Before this, we were talking about the new Doomsday, which we're both very excited for.
Yeah.
But there's villains in Doomsday. How do you ignore the villains that may try to sabotage you or may try to talk against you or may try to discourage you out there on platforms?
Know they're coming. And that's the thing. I had to learn this. And that's what I preach to other people and coach them, is that they will be there. When you have an idea or a dream and you're on your way, I have a vision and I'm going to build this. You want everybody to be on your side and be encouraging, your fellow heroes. But unfortunately, understand there's going to be villains. Know that up front. And there's going to be some people that are close to you, some relatives, some friends, some family members that will be that villain role that is, what are you doing that for? You can't do that. What are you taking that chance for? Or something negative.
And that hurts the most.
That hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
Not just as a coaching aspect of like, Josh, I wouldn't do that move. However, I think this move would help you out because in my day, 20 years ago, I did this. That's a little bit of advice. But there's people, and I grew up with this, of the famous, what the hell do you want to do that for? Oh my gosh. And it's like, man, I don't want to be in a court of law where I have to prove my case. This is my vision. And people want to know, well, how are you going to do that? And here's the key is, you know what? I don't know how. I haven't figured out the how yet. I will figure it out as I go. Action gives you clarity. You don't get clarity and then act. You've got to act. You will make mistakes, and there are people say, well, see? You know?
Told you so.
Told you so. What'd you do that for? And I wouldn't accept the criticism from anybody that I wouldn't take advice from. Those go hand in hand.
And the people that's never done it.
Never done it.
Well, I guess that's basically what you meant.
Yeah, people that's never done it. People that aren't doing anything. Like, okay, what are you trying to build? What are you doing? If you just want to do nothing, and there's some people that are happy with that in life. And if that's how they want their lives to be, okay, that's fine. I won't criticize you. I don't think you're doing anything with your life. But if you are happy in your life, I got nothing to say about you. You're living your happy life, but allow me to live mine. This isn't good enough for me. I want something different. I want to build something. Well, how are you going to do that? And I always hated that question. Like I had a court case where I had to present the how to get your approval in order for me to start doing this. It's like, well, no, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to screw up. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall. I'm going to skin my knees. I'm going to bruise my elbows, probably get a busted lip up. But I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to learn from those mistakes and keep going. So when you begin whatever project you are, understand that there will be those villains in there, and it's a good aspect for it. And I think people begin projects and they want or expect everybody to be their hero teammate. Like, yes, good for you. High five. How can I help? You got this. Which you want that. Not everybody does.
It's probably a very small percentage of people that probably you're close to.
You'd be surprised, that you want that from everybody. You're not going to get it. There's going to be a lot of detractors out. There's villains there. They think they're doing you good, and they're not encouraging you.